Hello again. In the description to this video, I give a link to a BBC News item which caused a sharp intake of breath when I read it, for two reasons. The first was that a family of immigrants who are wholly reliant upon state benefit, that is to say money from my taxes and your taxes, are complaining that they only have a two-bedroom flat and that this is causing problems for them because they have chosen to have three children rather than just one or two. You can see this family in the thumbnail to the video. In short, they are contributing nothing at all to the public purse, but are living on handouts from the state and now want to know why nobody is giving them a bigger house. They are, needless to say, by the way, living in a council house. As the mother, Husnawi Hussein, says, all these new houses keep being built, but where are they going? Who's getting them? This family are of Pakistani origin, and this ethnic group tends to have more children than people of white British heritage. A lot of Muslims regard children as a blessing from God and so do not use birth control. This then is one reason why there is a shortage of housing stock in Britain, because the larger the family and the more children, the more bedrooms are needed. Such families often take the larger houses available from local authorities and housing associations. The pressure on social housing is inexorable and added to literally every day as new immigrants, most of them penniless, land on the shores of southern England. The next time you see that your local authority has a new plan for developing the land near small towns and villages, as well as on the fringes of large cities, you need to know that it is this which is driving the need for this development, that is to say, more housing. The aim is to try and disperse immigrants away from London and South East England and get them to live in parts of the country which are not as yet as multicultural as our larger cities. The second reason that I pursed my lips and frowned on reading this news item is that it appears that the mother of the family was herself born in London, as were her children. Despite this, though, the fact that her children are third generation descendants of immigrants, it is clear from both the photograph and the text of the article that this is in fact a Pakistani family. Mother and daughters may well have been born in this country, but even the 11-year-old girl is wearing a hijab, and it's plain there's no desire at all to fit in with the customs and way of life in Britain. All the family have foreign names and dress differently from the majority population, and I suspect this will also be the case when those little girls are grown up as well. They deliberately reject the majority lifestyle and culture and are determined to recreate the community from which their grandparents came. This is in sharp contrast to other ethnic minorities, say the Polish people who settled in Britain after the end of the Second World War. They adapted to British life and now fit in as easily as can be. This will not happen with Muslims from South Asia. I say that they do not accept British culture or follow British traditions, but of course that's not strictly speaking true. The fine old British tradition of living on social security payments and agitating for a bigger council house is one custom that they seem happy enough to follow. The two tendencies which I mentioned, for unlimited numbers of people to be admitted to the country, and for those people, when once they are settled here, to have more children than the average British family, have serious demographic implications for the future. In some parts of Britain, the minorities have become the majority, and unless something changes, this is likely to be a trend of which we'll see a lot more in the coming decades. Despite all the tough rhetoric, there does not seem to be any prospect of the government actually taking steps to stem the tide of immigration into the country, although this could be done easily enough. Indeed, there are now calls for asylum seekers, as illegal immigrants are now referred to by many people, to be allowed to work and fill gaps in industries which are currently short-staffed. It is known that Boris Johnson is in favour of an amnesty for undocumented migrants. That's another euphemism, by the way, for illegal immigrants. And this is yet one more reason why we must hope that he is soon deposed as Prime Minister and leader of the Conservative Party.